I'm Vanessa. Welcome back to the Solena Global Living Podcast, where we share real stories, real estate, and the realities of life abroad. Today, we're going to Malaga. Malaga is the perennial favorite for people from all over the world. This is a city that people are passionate about. It's a city located right on the sea, filled with sunshine and a diverse, vibrant population. My guest today is Carin. She is a rental and buyer specialist in the Malaga area, and she's a total pro. She lives there with her family. She has bought investment properties. She has renovated properties, and she's been through the ringer. And now she helps other people do the same. So we're going to talk about some of the best neighborhoods to consider if you're looking for a walkable, accessible neighborhood, and some of the best family-friendly neighborhoods in the city. We'll talk about what to expect if you're looking for a rental or to purchase. And we'll even talk about the realities of renovating a property in the city. All right. Hi, Carin. Thanks for meeting with me today to talk about Malaga.
Hi there. Great to be talking about Malaga. It's my favorite city, so I'm excited to chat about it.
Well, and I think that's one thing that's fascinating to me about Malaga. People who love Malaga really love Malaga. Like, they are so pro Malaga. So what do you think it is that draws people to the city?
It's very hard to put your finger on exactly what it is. And I'm going to use kind of loose terms, like it's just very warm. And it's warm, not just temperature-wise, the sun is always shining, but the people are really warm. It just feels like a comfy, cozy place to be with a real sense of community. I think compared to some of the other cities I've lived in Spain, which have been bigger, this being a slightly smaller city, we're down in the south, it's got a lot of soul and it's got a lot of character. And it's really got that village vibe going. And I think that's what grabs people to begin with. And then there are a series of other things, like just practical things, like the airport, the beaches, the access to nature. You've got a little bit of everything here. So those are also pluses.
What would you say are some of the biggest surprises when people come to Malaga, when you're showing people property and they're like trying to figure out what areas to live in? What surprises them about Malaga?
I think, well, something that people cannot necessarily appreciate from just Googling and watching YouTube videos is the geography of the city of Malaga, for example. Something I didn't realize until I started driving around looking for property for myself is how steep some of it is, which means that you have a lot of properties that offer amazing panoramic sea views, but you need a car to get up to them. Or, I mean, there are buses, but it's limited. So I think that's one thing people underestimate. And one of the most common, if not the most common request for people searching for a property is to have something that's walkable. But it's something that you need to think twice about as well.
Yeah, let's dig into that. I hear that all the time. People want to live within walking distance of all the services. They want to be able to walk to the beach and to town. So are there specific neighborhoods that you would steer people toward if they're looking for car-free living in the Malaga area?
Yeah, there are definitely areas. Like I always say, is like the closer we stick to the coast, the flatter it is. And also the closer we are to the historic old part. The old parts were always built in the easiest to build parts, so the flat parts. So the old historic center is all flat. And if that's too much hustle and bustle, you start to go out 10 minutes either side of that. So on one side, we have Welin, which is quite a popular, vibrant, almost like town in its own right. That's on the west side. And on the east side, we have places like Limonar, which is more classic, leafy, old style, big old houses type vibe with a lot of heritage as well.
Okay. And if somebody is willing to have a car, what are some of the neighborhoods that you think foreigners especially are most drawn to?
So people who are willing to trade off to have a car are often families. And that's when you have a lot of great neighborhoods for families that are uphill. I mean, a lot of the good schools, the international schools and some of the more popular schools, they're located higher up on the steep slopes. So if you want to be close to schools, then that's usually what happens. Families tend to go up a bit. And we have one of the main neighborhoods for families in Malaga is Cerrado de Calderón. And then there are neighborhoods around that, but within, a 4-kilometer radius of that area is very popular with families. And in most cases, they are using a car to get around because of the location. Some people get lucky. We do find apartments that are, 3 minutes walk from the school up there. It can happen, but those are a little bit like unicorns.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So you help people find rentals and purchase property in the whole Malaga area. But let's start with rentals first. So what should people be aware of when they come into town and they're ready to rent that 2-bed, 2-bath within walking distance to everything apartment? What do you tell them?
Okay, well, first of all, is to figure out that walkability factor. If it's an absolute must, so if you're, a retiree and you really don't want to have a car and you want to have something flat, you can walk to the shops, walk to the pharmacy, walk to the market, fine. Then that's one of your first decisions to make. But it means that there'll be like trade-offs on things like big terraces with sea views or swimming pools. The next thing I think is timing. What time of year you come. I think everyone knows this and it applies to most of Spain. July and August are challenging. They're challenging for a series of reasons, not just that property owners are away and not actively thinking about whether they want to rent out their place or not. But there's also a big influx of people who are looking. Families are often looking to be in place by September. And so you have just a clash of a peak in demand and at the same time, like not that much movement in the supply side. So it just causes quite a stressful, tense situation. So for families, what I would recommend is if you can get here as early as possible, like May time, get your place established ahead of the summer season. And then you can enjoy the summer here. You can enjoy the swimming pool. The kids can start making friends with the other kids in the community and you figure out your routines and your rhythms rather than arriving just before September and rushing to get something. At the same time, if you do arrive in September, and there are people that come like in September, but they say, I'm going to get an Airbnb for a month is not really enough when there's 10 other families chasing exactly the same type of property as you. So just give yourself space, give yourself margin. And if you're able to pay for an extra month here or there before you arrive, it's not your exact move date, but it's just important to have somewhere you feel comfortable about and you don't feel stressed about the possibility of homelessness. So definitely timing is important. And then when it's not families, like retirees, for example, what's happened this year is that everyone followed this advice, not July, not August. And the retirees all turned up mid-September, but again, all at the same time. So again, we're chasing that 2-bed, sea view, walking distance apartment for a multitude of different clients all at the same time. So just spread it out. The calmer months, I would say, are more like October, November time, then February, March time, April, May time. These times, avoid the major holidays and give yourself a couple of months either side of your target move date.
I think that's really fair advice. Let's talk about price expectations. What are the going rates for that, perfect apartment, walking distance to everything?
So I think people do a pretty good job of doing their research and figuring out what market rates are. I mean, if we're talking about, like that 2-bed sea view apartment, in and around Malaga, so not just Malaga city, but it could be either side of Malaga. I mean, from on the low end, let's say low 1,000 to 1,300 around there. And, something better quality, furnished with more facilities is going to be close to the 2,000, maybe more like 1,700, 1,800. That should be a nice 2-bedroom with some facilities, some outdoor space, and maybe a view. So yeah, that's your standard sort of 2-bed situation. And then families, I would say we're getting much more closer to that 2,000 points. 2,000 to 2,500 is where you need to be to get normally the space and the facilities that a family is looking for. We can definitely find things under the 2,000 mark by either going outside the city, just within a 15-minute radius of the city. We can find things that are, there was even a 3-bed terrace house with its own little pool in a lovely quiet street just 15 minutes from the city that we secured for 1,300 a month, which was a lovely find. So it's possible, but to be realistic, if you're a family, the end is going to be more like 1,500. And if you want a bit more space or more facilities, 2,500. And then we can go up from there as well.
Right. It's always the possibility.
Yeah.
What about people who fall in love with the city core, the old historic district? Is it practical to live there? Do people, are they all tourist apartments at this point, or do people really still live in the center?
I think that's a great question because people are very quick to rule it out, but then they want the walkability factor and they want to be in a vibrant, lively neighborhood. So, yes, there are parts of the city center that with any city center that is much more commercial, or if there are apartments, a lot of them are Airbnb, vacation rentals. But, with a 10-minute walk outside of that, or you can definitely find communities that are permanent residents. There's a street in Malaga called Calle Victoria, and that one is very vibrant with people who live there all year round. It's, the kind of place where you can find trendy coffee shops opening up, vegan restaurants, it's quite multicultural, kind of an art scene there, an easy 10-minute walk to like where the main shops are.
Perfect. Okay. Well, switching gears to purchasing property, when people are kind of they're wanting to purchase something that feels like a good investment for them. Obviously, in Spain, we buy for the long term. We're not turning over apartments because of the way taxes are structured. But say somebody's coming in, they'd like to buy something that they plan to hold for 10 years. Are there any up and coming neighborhoods that you're excited about right now?
Yeah, I think definitely Malaga City has seen quite significant growth in the rates in the last 3 years, which means in terms of value for money, you don't get such a great return on your investment. It's more of a lifestyle choice that you would choose to buy property here right now. But seeing how popular Malaga is as a city, particularly with international buyers and not just speculators, no, people coming to live here, I think if you're able to buy family homes within a 10-kilometer radius of Malaga, I think that's great. There's a big lack of, let's say, contemporary modern properties, but there are some new developments coming up that historically I've never been a fan of new builds, but there are some more interesting individual family homes being built where if you get in at the right time, I think you could probably get it at a good price relative to the market, not have access to it for a couple of years because it's not built yet. But then once it's ready, you've got a really quality property that's quite unique here because most of property here is quite dated, sort of, 60s, 70s, 80s build. So if you have something that's brand new built with modern convenience in mind, I think that's the kind of property that will hold its value in the future.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there is any slowing down of the flow of people who want to live in Malaga. There's continued pressure on the housing market. And I don't, I mean, I don't know, you tell
Yeah,
me, I
it's
don't see that
crazy.
slowing down anytime soon.
I don't see it slowing down, and you can just see it from the new developments that come online, how popular they are, and that developers are just putting properties wherever they can to fill in the spaces to meet the demand. So yeah, it's really growing, and it's growing from a very diverse mix of destinations. So we have a lot of families from within Spain that are maybe thinking about whether the city they're currently in it serves their needs, or if they would prefer to be in a smaller city with better weather where the pace of life is a bit slower. So we see families relocating from Madrid, for example, particularly where one of the parents can get their job transferred here, or if they're able to work remotely. And then, of course, we have people from different parts of Europe, both East and West and North. And then, of course, the Americas, both South America, Central America, and the United States. Again, from all parts of the United States, from California to Florida. There's people from all over looking at Malaga as like a great place that ticks a lot of the boxes of the lifestyle needs they've got. So yeah, I'm quite excited for what Malaga will look like in 10 years because I do think it culturally will have a different vibe then.
Yeah, I could see that. So you mentioned all of the older properties. It seems like there are a lot of opportunities to renovate or modernize properties that are already built.
Yeah, I
There,
think yeah.
no, well, what I was going to ask is, would you advise somebody coming in, a foreigner coming in, to take on a renovation project in Malaga in terms of being able to get vendors and quality craftsmen and materials to handle the reno?
Yeah, I think Of course, doing any renovation project is challenging, let alone doing it in a country that's not your own, in a language that's maybe not your own. So there are a lot of challenges that come with it. Having said that, if you're open-minded to purchasing an older property, what you generally get is more square meters, more space, and in some cases, a slightly more sturdy property in a better, more established area. So there are definite pluses. And you know, very much on the apartment side of things. If you're wanting, yeah, that sort of downtown swanky apartment, if you try and find something that's ready made, you're really, really going to pay a premium for it. If you're willing to take on something that's dated, a little bit rough around the edges, but even do a full renovation, you can make something very smart and swanky that will be something very unique as well. I actually did my own renovation a couple of years ago on a property from the 70s, and we gave it a full facelift in a very contemporary feel, and we wouldn't have been able to find a property like that on the market, so it was really worth it for us. In terms of getting the job done, yes, there is a shortage of tradesmen, so it can be a challenge. But at the same time, if you get the right team around you, so we know great project managers, great architects, great interior designers, who have all the right contacts, work in a very professional way, and put everything on a schedule, everything under contract, then you can get the job done, and you get a really special place. So yeah, I do think it's worth considering. It also depends on your timeline, if you can wait for the property or not. But a lot of people will rent for the first year while it gets done, and then they move into their renovated place by year two.
Yeah, definitely. And I second that. I think making sure that you have the right team and that you have a local experienced project manager or construction manager that you trust to run the project is key, because I think I've seen people come in where they think, well, I've done this before in my own country. I know how to hire an electrician. I know how to hire this person. And it can be a real nightmare, reputable team behind you. Well, don't
Exactly. I
don't
mean,
go
like with
cheap.
my own project, I outsourced everything basically, and I had a local team with a lot of experience, a lot of reputation, and they made it happen. And my input was just on the fun stuff, and I didn't have to stress about, what stage things were at and if all the supplies had been ordered on time. It was all taken out of my hands. Yes, I paid for it, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I am so grateful that I have you as a contact in Malaga for the people who contact me and are looking to either rent or buy in the Malaga area, because you are such a pro and you have such a great reputation for taking good care of, everybody who comes to you for help. So, if you're looking to rent or buy in the Malaga area, Carin's contact link is below. You can contact her through that link, and she will follow up with you and help you with the process. Carin, thank you so much. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk about what life in real estate is like in Malaga.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. Remember, Cara's contact link is in the description below. Make sure to reach out to her if you are looking to buy or rent in the area. And hey, I help people from all over the world find their place in Spain by connecting them to local real estate experts like Carin. So whether you're looking in Malaga or in Barcelona, I likely have a local real estate expert who can help. And if you're not sure exactly where you want to go, that's where I come in. You can schedule a 1-hour consultation with me, and we can talk about the areas in Spain that may be best suited for you and your family. We can talk about lifestyle, healthcare, transportation, schools, and any other questions you have about life in Spain. I'm here to guide you and then connect you with the right resources. Just book a consultation. The link is in the description below. And until next time, keep traveling, keep exploring, and keep living the life you dream about.